touch my hair.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I have a new video for you guys, and I have something slightly different, and I'm gonna be talking about my hair, my natural hair to be specific. I currently have it all tucked away. My friend and I turned a year old on the 6th of December, so I thought I would do a natural hair story, just sharing how I went natural, why I went natural, and how my 1 year being natural has been so far. Yeah, I just wanted to share that journey with you guys. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the video itself. So I personally started getting relaxers at a very young age. Pretty much for as long as I could remember, I've always gotten my hair relaxed. My mom used to relax my hair, and so when I was young I had like a regular relaxer that I used to get, and I always used to hate getting a relaxer done, mainly because I'm tender-headed in general. I hate it when people touch my hair, and my mom, she had zero patience because she knew she had to get this hair relaxed. And so I remember just crying throughout like the relaxer situation, and she was like, girl, your tears don't mean nothing to me, we need to get your hair relaxed. And yeah, and I remember just being told how beautiful I was after the relaxer, like, you see, you were crying for nothing, look at how pretty you are. And that was always like the consolation after that. So I don't remember getting burnt when I was young. I just remember hating my mom pulling on my hair and, you know, just being busy in my hair. I just remember. And then later on I started going to salons on my own. Yeah, relaxing has always been part of my life. Like, I don't know anything outside of relaxing. I don't remember a time where I didn't relax my hair. It was always a routine, a part of me maintaining my hair. Like I think I cut my hair in the 7th grade. I remember I cut my hair in the 7th grade, and I had an S-curl, and it looked so good on me, let me just say. And I had that for a while, and then I started growing my hair again. I think mid-grade 10, which was 2008. Yeah, 2008. So yeah, and then from 2008 I was bound on growing hair, but my hair never grew, funny enough. I think it grew up until maybe, not even, probably, you know where this necklace ends, that's how long my hair grew. And funny enough, when I was young I had thick beautiful hair. Even though I got it relaxed, it was thick, it was beautiful, and it was long. But when I started trying to grow my own hair, I was not winning, and I was slightly frustrated with my hair. I got to a point where, like in varsity, I wouldn't even bother with my own hair anymore, because my natural hair was very, very thin and lifeless. I just didn't like how it looked. So every time in between like getting my hairstyles done, like braids and weaves, I would literally just have my hair in a bun. A bun, let's call it a bun. And that's pretty much how I had my hair, you know, before I made the decision to go natural. So yeah, that's a bit of an introduction into the history of my hair, even though that was now longer than an introduction. I'm kidding. There was a time where there was this natural hair buzz going on, and everyone was kind of like, natural hair, natural hair. People were moving from relaxed to natural hair. I never really caught on to that. However, the more the movement grew, I started to see more people with their natural hair, and it was very interesting to me. With the few people that I got to see with their natural hair back then, I always admired natural hair. But the only issue with me, I just didn't understand it, to be quite honest. I didn't understand the process involved in getting natural hair, and all I knew on my side was having relaxed hair. So I don't think it ever dawned to me that, oh, you could also be natural. So fast forward to varsity. Obviously at that point, again, the movement is growing. I don't like this word movement. Community of natural hair girls was growing at that point. And I actually had, how many friends did I have? 3 friends that had natural hair. So I remember just being like, because they would talk about being natural and stuff, and I'd be like, why don't you wear your natural hair out and stuff? And they would talk about how it was you know, not easy to maintain, and how it would shrink if you wore it out in an afro, for instance. It would shrink by the end of the day, and it was just all these like negative, I don't want to say negative, but it was their experiences, you know. But hearing all of those things really turned me off being natural. I'm like, you have such beautiful afros, but you can't wear them out. Second thing was, it sounded like a lot of work. Just the thought of it for me was just like, okay, nah, I'll pass. It really sounded like a lot of work, and I just wasn't keen for it at that point. So carried on with my relaxer. Now moving on to why I eventually went natural hair. Pretty much 2013, 2014, I started seeing like an influx, like a plethora of women just going natural. Like it was just becoming quite prominent, and it was just starting to spread, which is a great thing. And so in finally deciding to be natural, I actually sat down with myself, and I had to sit down and write a list of pros of going natural and cons of going natural. I was pretty much at a place where I was willing to give it a chance, but I had to think logically and think sensibly about it. So I sat down, wrote down the pros and the cons. The pros outweighed the cons for me, and that is how I decided to go natural. So one was the hair crushing situation. Secondly, an important factor was how I hated getting my hair relaxed. I absolutely detested it. I actually used to burn all the time. I can count in one hand the number of times I got my hair relaxed and I didn't burn, and I still won't get to 5. So I always used to get burned because I have a very sensitive scalp, and from continuously getting burned and getting scabs on my scalp, I started to develop really bad dandruff, and I still have dandruff to this day. And that is one of the consequences of just having relaxed my hair over years and burning all the time, because there are literally times where after I've even washed my hair and I'm maybe going to get a protective hairstyle done, and there are scabs on my scalp. It's not just dandruff, it's like scabs from past burns. That's how bad it was. I would go get my hair relaxed, and literally they would apply the relaxer on my head within minutes, like literally not even 5 minutes, not even 3 minutes. I would start to feel the burning sensation come through, and I was like, no, I'm gonna sit it through. I'm gonna be a tough girl because my hair has to be relaxed. Because if in situations where they didn't, like I would tell the hairdresser like I'm burning, and they would quickly like wash it off, my hair wouldn't get relaxed. So I was like, nope, this hair got to be snatched, honey. So I would literally sit there and burn. Guys, like, what common sense is that? I would sit there, burn, and I'm like, okay, I think it's fine now. Then I'd tell the hairdresser, okay, I'm burning. Sometimes I wouldn't be able to stand it, and I'll be like, dude, I'm burning. And the other thing is, they would be very frustrated with me because I'd be like, I'm burning, and they're not even halfway through applying the relaxer, and they're like, already? I'm like, yes, I'm burning. And obviously the hair is not going to be relaxed, and they're not going to be happy because maybe there are other customers who are sitting there watching, and then they see that my hair is not relaxed, and they're not going to be pleased with that. So they used to be quite like, you could see that they're slightly like annoyed by it. So that was my experience. Like, I couldn't stand relaxers. I tried all sorts of relaxers that promised that they don't, you know, they're not as strong and stuff, but I used to get burned, y'all. And so that also encouraged me to go natural. Another huge reason that I wanted to go natural was because I always knew that I wanted my kids to be natural. I wanted my girls, if God blessed me with girls, children, and with girls that I would want them to be natural. Like, I was convinced. And I was like, I'm not gonna, you know, put my child through this thing called a relaxer. You know, yes, when she's old enough, maybe they might want to relax. I hope they don't. But I was like, none of my kids are going to be relaxed. However, I didn't want to be a hypocrite where now they have natural hair and I still have my relaxed hair. So I knew ultimately that I would probably go natural the moment that I found out that I was pregnant with like a baby girl. I wanted them to look up to me. I wanted me to be the first woman that they look up to, and the first representation that they see would have been me, and they would be encouraged to also love their natural hair because mommy also has natural hair. So it was just one of those like things that I thought about, like, but ultimately I did go natural eventually because I was crushing way too hard on other girls' hair. I know it sounds so vain and so simplistic, because I know some people are like, oh,
I went natural because I came to the light. I was enlightened about the colonization of natural hair. I was empowered within.
okay, I'm not making fun of people who came to that realization. I really am not. It was just not my experience, okay? We natural now. We are rocking in the natural community. We've decided that we're going to go natural. How did I go natural? Okay, so basically after deciding, I've got the pros, I've got the cons. I'm like, the pros outweigh the cons. I'm like, let's do this. Another thing that I failed to mention in my story of why it took me a while to kind of decide to go natural was this whole thing of having to cut off all of my hair. I wasn't having that, so that kind of delayed me actually thinking about going natural. But then I found out about this thing of transitioning, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. So then in deciding to go natural, I decided to transition. So I stopped getting relaxers. My last relaxer was back in February 2014. I transitioned from that period from February 2015. I promised to transition for a year. I was like, you're gonna transition, and this was my deal. You're gonna transition for a year. Then after a year, you're gonna give yourself a year to go natural. If you find that it's so hard, you're gonna have to go through those periods before you go back to being natural. And so during transitioning, I honestly didn't do much with my hair. I remember taking like a picture once just to see the growth that I had. Relaxing my hair. I started relaxing. I stopped applying heat. At that point I was wearing a lot of weaves, and I used to have like leave outs. I would like leave my hair out in the front. So the front of my hair was actually shorter than the back, and it was obviously more damaged because I was constantly applying heat via straighteners and stuff when I would, like, you know, have my weave out and stuff. So I was like, no more heat, no more relaxing, just literally I would take my hair out, right, from a protective hairstyle. I would wash it, and I would just like maybe have it in like 3 ponytails and braid it out. Go to the hair salon, they'd be like trying to apply the hair dryer, and I'm like, nah Holmes, we're not doing that. And I had to be quite firm, because the ladies that do my hair, they'd be like, why, it's gonna be hard to deal. I'm like, no, you can work with it the way it is. It was even worse when I finally was 100% natural and I'd go to the salon and they'd want to like use the hair dryer on my head. I'm like, so yeah, I was very adamant with the no heat, because I would see the damage of having that constant use of straighteners on my leave out for my weaves. So 10 months in, I remember my last wash day with my hair, I started to see the growth. Like, I had like some growth, and my hair was so easy to deal with. It was soft. Like, I was just like running my hair through it, and then I had these like raggedy ends of relaxed hair like dragging me down, and it just became a pain dealing with two textures, honestly. But then I was like, 12 months, you promised yourself. So after that last wash day, I got a weave done, and I remember I was, getting ready to basically take the weave out, and I thought about my last wash day, and I'm like, I'm not going back there, y'all. I can't. It was sort of like a spur of the moment thing. It wasn't really planned because the plan was 12 months. But when I took my weave out, I was like, you know what, I can't. Chopped it all off, and I was just going through some stuff, and chopping those relaxed ends off was just really liberating for me. I was like, you know what, I'm getting rid of this dead weight on my hair, and I got rid of it that night, and I cut it all off. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? So yeah, having to see myself with my natural hair, it was definitely a shock to the system, and I definitely looked very, very different. Just some FYI, I did actually do the big chop myself. In hindsight, I wouldn't advise people to, cut their own hair. I did a terrible job at it. So I would actually advise that you go to like a barber shop or whatever and get the hair cut. But I didn't actually take any pictures because and I looked crazy, and it took me a day to get over how I looked. So I cut my hair December 6th, Sunday night. Monday I had to make a plan at that point, washed my hair, and then I did a bit of a twist out, and then on Tuesday I actually got out of my depressed state. I'm being dramatic here. Wore my hair out, and I looked pretty decent. And at that point I was like, you know what, people need to get used to me looking like this now. This is the new me. As much as I'm still trying to digest it all, they need to quickly get used to me. And at this point, it was during the festive season and stuff. So I wore my hair out literally the whole of December. I wore it out. I still just didn't know. It was just like this foreign thing on my head that I didn't understand, but I was just trying to get to know. I'm like, I pushed the whole of Jan as well with my own hair. That's when I made the conscious decision to not be a closet natural. I wanted people to know that I had natural hair. I didn't want at that point. I started wearing out my hair frequently. I actually feel like I wore my hair out way too often. But yeah, I actually did wear it out. An experience, and hence I personally, as much as I did transition for 10 months, I only started to feel that I was a natural once I cut the hair off. That's when the experience began. So in terms of my experience of being natural, it wasn't the best. It took me a while to get it. There's a plethora of information on the internet about taking care of our natural hair, understanding our natural hair, specifically my type of hair, natural hair, which is 4C or 4D. I'm telling y'all, there's a 4D out there, and I have that hair. So there's a lot of information on the internet, but all overwhelming because I kept on trying to do it bit by bit, piece by piece, trying to understand, trying to put together the pieces, but the pieces never really came together for a long time. I think for the first 6 months, for the first half of it was just me struggling through it and just trying to make. There was pre-poo, there was co-wash, there was twist out, braid out, and I was like, where does it all fit in? I'm a forest type of person, the whole forest versus tree person. Some people immediately want details, then they can see the bigger picture. I need to see the bigger picture first, then I can get into the details. But if I'm doing bits and pieces of stuff and I don't understand where or how they come together, it's quite frustrating, and that's exactly what I went through. And so because of all of that confusion, and just I can blame myself on a bit that I wasn't proactive with taking care of my hair. I was like, I don't get it, I'm just gonna do what I can. And I was like, I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna take my time learning. And I took too much time learning and my hair was not pleased. So yeah, so it was really, you know, a process getting to learn. Like now I know a lot, and I'm like, wow, like literally 6 months ago I didn't know what I know now. And it really took a moment where I was truly frustrated with my hair, and it didn't look like my hair crush's hair. I was like, this is not how I imagined being natural would be like. My hair does not look like cotton candy. Neither does it feel like cotton candy. And I was just frustrated with my hair. And I remember that particular moment of just frustration, because I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Like, I've tried. And I was just like in my head complaining about my hair. And my hair slapped me in the face. And she was like, not literally of course, if you are true and honest with yourself, I have a question to ask you. Have you been taking good care of me? Have you been going to the correct lengths to take care of me so that I can flourish? And I was like, how do you? So at that point I was like, you know what, Fro, I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better by you, and I'm gonna take better care of you. And that's really when I started to kind of really try to make sense of the knowledge, of the information. After that experience, I wanted to understand first. So I really feel like my hair has started to flourish in the last 5-6 months, really, to be quite honest. Before then I was a struggling naturalista. I still have my struggling tendencies where I don't stick to what I know is best for my hair, and then my hair quickly shuts it down and it puts me in my place. But I've definitely come a long way, that we can say with confidence. So there's so much that I've learned. So much I've learned about my hair, about how unique and different and precious it is. I've also learned so much about myself, like learning to be confident in having natural hair, you know. Yeah, that is it with my natural hair story. It's been a crazy ride. I have learned a lot, like I've said, from a lot of mistakes that I made personally, and in the process of making all those mistakes, they did compromise the health of my hair. And you know, if your hair is not healthy, it's not in a position for it to grow at the rate that it should or it could. And I've seen it with my own hair. Showed just a bit about, you know, my 2017 goals with my hair. Health. Yeah, health. That's really it. Second thing, I'm gonna have my hair tucked away more often in 2017. Like I said, I had my hair out way too often. I even had it out in winter. Having it out also meant that I always had my hands in my hair, because I suffer from hand in hair syndrome. So that's just two things I was not supposed to be doing, you know. So 2017, my hair is going to be tucked away most of the time and letting it grow, you know, taking care of it under protective hairstyling. That's really it. Without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the length check. Okay, so I have my hair out and it's just in a bit of a crazy state. I had a twist out. So to get started, I'm gonna take the first part of, well, let's start with the sides. yeah guys, that is my length check, and I'm super duper excited to see where it's going to be in a year's time, and I'm going to be doing these yearly. But that concludes this video. I really enjoyed sharing my story with you guys, and just going down memory lane. I'd love to know, you know, a bit about your natural hair story. How long have you been natural, and what was the biggest, you know, mistake that you did while being natural? And also, what has been the greatest thing about being natural? You know, engage with me in the comment section. I'd really love to know. But apart from that, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and become part of the family. It's free, come on. do it. Yeah, that's it from me guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying till the end of the video. I will see you guys on my next video, and until then, bye.